Hello class and welcome to Module 14. This is the last module in the course, so congratulations on making it this far. The focus of this module is on mindfulness in the workplace and analyzing what mindfulness actually brings to the workplace or to an organization. And it's certainly something I've thought about quite a bit in regards to this course and how to teach this course and how to allow us to try some different mindfulness techniques, but also look at the content and how it can impact leadership and how it can impact the culture of an organization. So what I want to accomplish in this module, I want us to look at some of the strengths and weaknesses of a mindfulness leadership program and identify some components that would be in an effective mindful leadership program, with the idea that for our final, we will actually create an outline for a mindful leadership program. So what does mindfulness actually bring to the workplace? Which makes me think of a couple questions for us to ponder. The first one deals with what kind of impact can mindfulness have on the culture of an organization? We'll look at a few examples in our readings. I also want you to think about everything we've learned thus far in the course. When we think about how mindfulness can increase compassion, camaraderie, the sense or feeling of value, productivity, mental health. Those are some of the things that mindfulness does bring to an organization. So what kind of impact can that lead to? And I would argue it can have an enormous impact on an organization. You may view this differently, but I think mindfulness can fill a void or enhance what is already happening in an organization. And there are certainly, in my opinion at least, many benefits associated with mindfulness in the workplace. And as we think about what a mindfulness program would look like and read through our material and our examples this week, a few things to think about and that you'll get to address in your final are different components or aspects of a mindfulness program. And as you read through these different programs, you'll realize there is no one universal blueprint that you need to follow. There's no right or wrong answer. It's more so, what do you think would fit within your organization? So it will be unique to each situation. Think about your organization and how a mindfulness program could be beneficial, where it would fit in. They would start with a self-analysis and do an analysis of the strengths and weaknesses of a mindful leadership program. I touched on some of the strengths. There are certainly some weaknesses or areas of concern as well. We also need to think about how could we get employee buy-in? How can we get other employees to say, yes, this is something I want to do? And, go back to when you first started this course and how you felt. That's how most people probably would feel if at your next teacher meeting you said, hey, I'd like to try and having a mindfulness program or implementing some type of mindfulness at my school. How would those teachers, how would your colleagues feel, or what would be their opinion? We also have to think about what aspects would you include in this program. We touched on a lot of different aspects of mindfulness, but what components would you include? You'll get to create an outline of what you think is important and what should be included and why. We also have how long should that program be. I'll present a few examples in the content, but you see programs that last 6 weeks up to months regarding the length of a program. So what length would you recommend for a program? And Again, going back to the idea of what fits best within your organization. We also have to think about who would actually attend this training. Are we just focusing on leadership and we want that trickle-down effect? Or do we think mindfulness should be open to anybody, and that, having your colleagues, having teachers, having administrators involved would be good and getting different perspectives? Again, that'll be unique to your situation. And then finally, which I think would be the most important from an administrative position, is how can we determine whether or not a mindfulness program would even be beneficial, or how could we determine whether or not it was successful? What type of measurements could we use to help us analyze that and think about, okay, I can tell mindfulness was beneficial because of this, or hey, here are a couple of issues with the mindfulness program and why it didn't work at our institution. And as we kind of wrap up this module and the course, we've spent the entire semester discussing mindfulness, thinking about some of the benefits, the challenges, and different techniques we can use. And the great thing about mindfulness is it can be applied for anybody. Yes, this course is designed to look at mindfulness from a leadership perspective, but I would argue that we're all leaders in some capacity, and that if we practice mindfulness, it will have a trickle-down impact on everybody around us. And as you think about your final assignment and what you would include in a mindfulness program, think about what your organization could use. Think about how a mindfulness could benefit some of the issues maybe you're having. Read through the examples that I provided, and truly think about what you would include in any type of program.